Hello and welcome to the latest video and podcast from Fantasy Football Scout as we look ahead to Game Week 24. My name is Joe and today I'm joined by Fantasy Football Scout's Deputy Editor Tom Freeman to reveal our latest teams ahead of the Game Week. Welcome Tom, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Joe. Yeah, didn't have a great game week. Missed out on some key players. Captain Solanke, so not great at all. But obviously, there's double game week coming up, blank game week on the horizon as well. So yeah, hoping that it's a slight blip and we can get
Yeah.
back on track in 24.
Yeah, I was particularly dullard in that it wasn't great, wasn't bad.
Okay.
74 points, which was enough for a 400 red arrow, just about
Okay.
almost a grey arrow, so almost the
Okay.
dullard pinnacle of the game week. So yeah, got some hauls, missed out on others, gone actually on the bench, annoyingly. Okay, just before we go on, just remember to remind people to press that like button and do remember to subscribe as well, so keep up to date with our latest videos and podcasts, and to check out fantasyfootballscout.co.uk for latest members offers, so you can get access to all the latest stats and season ticker and rate my team tool and all those sorts of things to help you go up your mini leagues. What we do before we have a look at our teams and what we're going to be doing for Game Week 24, I put the fixtures up on the screen because this is the time when we need to look not really just at Game Week 24. We've got to consider the double Game Week in 25, Liverpool, Man City, and Liverpool and Luton both double in those. All those teams double in Game Week 25. 26, Luton, Liverpool, Tottenham and Chelsea all blank in 26. So we've got to navigate that. Meanwhile, we're going to find out this week whether it's either Aston Villa or West Ham or Arsenal and Chelsea, I think, are going to blank in 29. Meanwhile, we've got the fixtures up on the screen which say that irrespective of all of those things, Brentford, Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, Man City have the best fixtures coming up. Crystal Palace, terrible run of form at the moment, and they'll be without Elise, possibly Eze for a while as well. Meanwhile, Chelsea, Everton, Tottenham and Brighton have mixed fixtures to poor fixtures over that run. Brighton in particular, fixtures are good, but in Game Week 29 and 30, they've got a probable blank, and if they don't, they face Man City, and then they've got Liverpool in Game Week 30. So there's lots for us to think about. So the moves that you're going to talk about in your team, they're not just for 24, are they? They're with all this in mind.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's that game week 29 there is going to have a lot of blanks appearing on there
Yeah.
soon, due to the FA Cup, which you should factor in. But I think the appeal of Man City is there for all to see because they double in 25, but they've also got that fixture in 26, which you can't say for Liverpool and you can't say for Luton. And
Yeah.
then Brentford's fixtures, they're top of that ticker, but the double and really what is in and around it aren't great, are they?
No.
It's the fact that the volume of fixtures
Yeah.
because they're definitely playing
Yeah.
29, double in 25. So it is so. I think the Man City triple up and getting that in place, which I think you've already got, Joe, haven't you? But for other people who have maybe only got two assets,
Yeah.
like myself, I think the priority this week is a Man City triple up, and then you want to be starting looking at Liverpool players for the double, but you've got to make sure that you've got a plan for 26 as well.
Yeah, definitely. Lots to think about there. So, well, this not dilly dally. Let's get straight onto your team. So,
Yeah.
so this is got your team on screen. If you want to, I mean, you said you haven't had a good game week, but you have been going up the rankings quite steadily in recent
I
weeks.
had.
So this is
Yeah.
a good run you're in at the moment. So what team have you got? Who are you captaining? What are your transfer decisions? And do you have one or two transfers for this, by the way?
Yeah, so I've got two free
Okay.
transfers and I've got 4.2 million in the bank.
Wow.
So we've got a bit of money to play with, which I will need when you look at the team. So the team as it stands at the moment is in a 3-4-3. We've got Dubravka in goal, Alexander Arnold, Gabriel, and Gahey at the back. I think Gahey might miss out. He's flagged at the moment, but that's the word we're hearing is he might be out for a week or two.
Okay.
But we'll come to that in a minute. Midfielders Saka, De Bruyne, Palmer, and Jota, who is my current captain. And then Solanke, Alvarez, and Watkins up front,
Okay.
with a bench of Areola, Odegaard, Stupinan, and Taylor.
Okay.
So the obvious problem in the team is no Haaland. So
Yeah.
that's something which I always knew I wanted to address this week. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't keen on bringing him in last week because it would have involved hits and things like that. So Haaland coming in for either Solanke, probably it will be Solanke, but if Alvarez were to be benched maybe against Everton, we might get a leak.
Okay.
I might consider Haaland for Alvarez, but it will be one of those
Mm-hmm.
two players which Haaland comes in for.
Okay.
Now, to do that, I've got 4.2 in the bank, but I need a bit more money. So somebody's got to be downgraded. And I wouldn't mind holding this player, but I think he's the obvious player to drop to make that money, and that's Odegaard.
Okay.
So if I drop Odegaard, I can get any midfielder up to 5.3 million.
Oh, okay.
Garnacho's the obvious one, isn't he,
Yeah.
Joe? You've got him in your
Mm-hmm.
team, been doing very, very well recently.
Oh,
I
but
could, I
a caveat with that on my bench. He's been doing very
well,
well
he's
without actually playing him.
yeah, okay, all right. Well, he's there if you do need him. So, and he will hopefully make you a bit of money as well,
Yeah.
because I can only see his price going up in the
Mm.
next few weeks. So I've got 5.3. So Garnacho, if he came in, that would solve a lot of
Mm.
problems. I'd get Haaland, I can captain him. Garnacho would just slot into the bench
Mm-hmm.
away at Villa. I can play all of the players that you see on the screen
Yeah.
now. No benching headaches, really.
Mm.
Um, Another option would be to go for somebody like Ross Barkley, who's got
Mm.
Sheffield United this week and then has a double game
Mm.
week. One that I don't mind that. I think my team can, because I've got no Tottenham players. I think in 26 I'm okay with Ross Barkley. I think that I
Mm.
can. I don't think I'd need to be fielding 10 players or anything like that.
Mm.
I could absorb him being there. But it does then create a benching problem for this week, of course, because
Yeah.
you bring Barkley in, and I would want to start him at home against Sheffield
Mm.
United, which would then mean benching somebody like Cole Palmer or something like that. And I don't think I
Mm.
want to do that.
No.
I think I'm just creating problems for myself. So that's something to think through. But certainly the moves at the
Yeah.
moment are Haaland coming in and a cheap midfielder.
Okay.
Defense doesn't look great this week,
No.
I'll admit. Alexander Arnold, will he, won't he play? We
Mm.
hope so. I certainly do.
Yeah.
Gabriel's fine, but then I've got a problem because there's Stupinan. We don't know where he's
No.
at. He's away at Tottenham.
Mm.
Gahey. I could take a -4 to do that, but I just don't know if it's worth it. I might
No.
just play a defender and hope for the best.
So
No.
would you favour taking Solanke out for Haaland and using Odegaard there? I mean, what if you took Alvarez off? I don't know what the price difference is there. Can you get a better midfielder then?
No, because they're both. I think my selling price on both of them is very similar with
Oh,
Solanke
okay.
and
Right.
Alvarez. It doesn't
Okay.
make a massive difference. It's
Okay.
around. It's just under 7 million, I
Yeah.
think.
And
So yeah, I mean Alvarez, he's got that double coming up. I think he'll get okay minutes
I
over
think he
the
will.
two. His appeal has been dented for sure. He's not going to play centre forward. He's not got penalties. He's not got set pieces. De Bruyne took them all last night, but he's still, if he's getting minutes in that City team, he still looked a threat last night. I
Yeah.
thought certainly in the first half. So it's just whether or not I take out Solanke, who I'm going to want back in a few weeks because they've got
Yeah.
good fixtures from when is it 27 onwards, and they might double as well.
Yeah.
So I'm going to want him back, but I might just go with Alvarez for that little run and hope that he gets enough minutes either
Yeah.
side. If he doesn't play in the Champions League, for instance, then his minutes might be boosted a little bit
Yeah.
in the Brentford game to come in 25. So yeah, I need to think that one through. But if he was benched and we get a leak this weekend, that might sway me.
Yeah, getting triple City for the double is probably priority because they play in 26 as well because it's Man City. So if you end
If
up
I
with Haaland, De Bruyne, and Alvarez, that's
yeah.
that's potentially as good as De Bruyne, Haaland, and Foden, Haaland's Foden and Walker. It's a good triple up still.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried about Foden because he does just seem. I mean, I had the choice between Jota and Foden 2 weeks ago, and I got Jota in for the big haul at Bournemouth. And so when Foden blanked, and it was all great, and now Foden's pulled it back, and it didn't matter at the moment who I bought in. They've both got similar points, but I do worry a bit with no Foden. But I think I'm just going to have to just roll with that now. I think it would take too many transfers to start moving him and Alvarez out and things
Yeah.
like that. So
Yeah, I mean,
just going to have to roll with it.
yeah, I mean, if you want Haaland, you've got to sort of restructure because you've got to pile some money into attack, even though you do have money in the bank. Odegaard down
I
to
need a bit more.
Foden though would leave you just obviously too short to go Alvarez or Solanke to Haaland, but it might
Oh
only,
yeah, yeah.
but it might only leave you 1 million or so short if you've got 4 million in the bank.
No, no, I'd need more than that
Oh,
because I've only
okay.
got if I take out Alvarez and Odegaard now, then I've only got 5.3 for a midfielder.
Ah,
So I'd need to pull more money out if I want to get a better
right.
midfielder
Yeah.
than a but for the structure of the team, I'm not that worried about going down to a cheap midfielder because it helps the
Yeah.
team
Yeah.
the balance, it
Yeah.
restricts the benching headaches.
Yeah.
So I'm not totally
No.
against that.
No.
If I go to a
No.
Garnacho, I just think maybe I can get somebody a bit more exciting
Okay.
than Garnacho and maybe try and attack those doubles a little bit more. But I'll see. So
And obviously you put the armband on Haaland if and when you get him in.
yeah,
Okay.
I think so. I do like that Liverpool fixture against Burnley. And I am in a position where I think I was 160k last week. I've
Yeah.
doubled that rank this week. It's been a bad week for me. I only got 50 points, I think. So it's gone back. So part of me's thinking, could I look to that Liverpool fixture and maybe take a gamble on the cap?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I
No.
don't like going against Haaland. I think I might just try and make it up in other areas rather than risking the captaincy. If he plays, he's surely the best captain choice. So
Yes. Okay, here's my team. On the theme that you might go for Garnacho, it helps team structure. I might get rid of him.
okay, let's have a look at your team up. Okay.
So I've got 3-4-3. I've got Dubravka and Areola benched. I've got Gabriel away to West Ham. Pedro Porro at home to Brighton. Alfie Doughty, of course, finally going to play him. Missed out on his 3 points last week, annoyingly. De Bruyne and Foden, Saka and Palmer. I've got the vice captaincy on Palmer just because he's a talisman. He's playing Palace, who are terrible. And then Haaland is my captain at home to Everton. I've got Solanke away to Fulham. Watkins at home to Manchester United. On my bench, Garnacho, Areola, Estupinan and Anderson. So, yeah, I mean, I've got 2 free transfers, so I'm going to use one. In a way, I wish we could carry a transfer because I'm quite happy with this setup here. It does lack Liverpool, though. And
Yes.
I was just playing around with my team earlier. I've got 3.4 million in the bank. I have exactly enough with 0 0.0 left to just upgrade Garnacho to Jota. And as soon as I saw that, I thought, ooh, that could be a good way to do it. So Jota, having Jota in place for that Burnley game and ahead of the double, that leaves me with nothing. But it does leave me still with 2 free transfers going into 25. But it would mean I would have to bench a player. And I think that would be Solanke.
Which player? Okay, all right.
Solanke.
Yeah, I think I would do the same.
I think it would be
Yeah.
Solanke, and Solanke is the first sub. Now, Man City, we might see some rotation, so I might need my first sub this week. But I kind of quite like that. My other option is I can, with my 3.4 million in the bank, look to get a Liverpool defender or defensive cover rather than an attacker this week. So I could move Dubravka to Alisson and just have Alisson
Yeah.
in place, and that would only cost me half of my bank. So that would still leave me with 1.7 in the bank to do something with during the double game week. I could just move Pedro Porro or Stupinan or Anderson and move them to Van Dijk. So one of those 3 are going to come in. I don't think I'm going to use both because I'd like to go into 25 with 2 transfers and see what I've got because I'm going to need to be a bit more flexible, maybe even take a hit. But I quite like that. And that doesn't leave me too exposed in 26. I think that leaves me with, if I get a couple of Liverpool players, I think that will leave me with just a free transfer needed in 26 to field 11. So I feel I'm in a good place,
Yeah.
but it could be better. So yeah, that's my main consideration. So what would you do? Garnacho to Jota, or one of those defensive moves?
No, I think I would do the defensive move
Okay.
because I think that I kind of like the structure of the team at the moment. I do like having that cheaper kind of fifth
Yeah.
midfielder. I'd worry about who you're going to bench in. I think Solanke at Fulham is still a
Yeah.
good
Still good
option
fixture. Yeah.
on penalties. It's
Mm,
still a decent
mm,
game there. And I kind of like the Allison move because it doesn't make it a problem in
no.
26 because you simply play your other
Yeah.
goalkeeper. Who would you sell? Which goalie would you sell, Joe?
I would
Dubravka
sell.
or Areola?
Well, a lot might depend on the FA Cup this week because
Yeah,
Areola might have a blank in 29. He might not.
yeah,
Newcastle might have a blank in 29, might not somewhere down the line. But at the same time, in
yes,
26, it's only if I got Allison in as a goalkeeper right up until I wildcard, I'll just play Allison. He's a great
yeah.
goalkeeper and a good team. So I would just play him. So I'd only really need another goalkeeper in 26 and 29.
Mm.
So game week 26, Dubravka has. I'm just trying to find Newcastle. He's got Arsenal away, whereas West Ham has got
Brentford at
Brentford.
home.
So I
So
can't see a clean sheet in either of those, to be honest. So it might be
no, but you
Areola.
you would yeah, you would prefer Areola though, wouldn't you?
But
I
if
think.
Areola is
Brentford.
definitely not blanking in 29,
Yeah,
I'll remove Dubravka. So I'm not going to make that decision anyway until Friday or Saturday morning. Friday probably. But
If you bought in, sorry, Joe, if you bought in Van Dijk for, I presume, a Stupinan or Anderson, one of those two,
yeah.
you would have to play Van Dijk. So would you bench
Ah,
Gabriel or Porro?
oh, sorry.
Or
Yeah, what I would do is I would get rid of Pedro Porro because
okay, you would sell.
but
Okay,
yeah, I would
you
get rid of
get
him
another
because
player who blanks,
because
so
that
it'd be like for
because
like.
exactly it removes a 20 game week 26 headache, gets me guaranteed good player for 24. I think
Yeah,
Van Dijk will outscore Pedro Porro in 24 and 25. I just think you'll get more. So yeah,
yeah,
I would look
okay.
to do that.
I like
Pedro,
that move too as well.
yeah,
I don't dislike that, but I think I would. I think just part of me says, yeah, the defense or the defensive move is what I would go for. I think.
yeah, yeah. I do as
And
well.
then Darwin in 25. Is that what you're looking at, Joe? Maybe for
No,
Solanke or no?
maybe
You're not
not.
going
I
there.
think I'd prefer Tony to Darwin if I was going to go there.
Okay.
But yes, I would play around with the money that I've got. I think I probably would do that defensive move, although that Jota move is quite tempting. The defensive move because then I can get Jota in for possibly. See, that's the meaning. It would probably possibly be for Garnacho anyway. So then I start
Yeah.
thinking maybe I should just do that move in 24 because I'll probably do that game move in 25
Oh, right.
anyway
Okay.
because I'd probably
Hmm.
want to get Jota in. I
Oh,
and
if you want to get him in, this is the week to get him in. I think. Yeah. If you were saying to me, "Oh, I'm definitely going to get him in before
yeah.
the
So
double,"
so
well,
say
now's the time to move for those players.
yeah. So
So.
say Salah's not ready.
Hmm.
Then I would
Yeah, I
want
suppose
Jota.
waiting gives you more information,
It
doesn't
gives
it?
me more information, but
So.
I would want Jota
Mm,
in. And I'm not
mm,
removing Jota as KDB for Jota. I'm not removing Foden for him. I'm not removing
mm.
Palmer. It'd be between Saka and Garnacho. And Saka has Burnley in game week 25 and Newcastle at home in 26 and Sheffield United in game week 27. Basically, he's not a player I particularly want to remove.
No.
So I think it would be Garnacho anyway. So I might as well make that move if I've got exact money and
Yeah.
then move to the defensive moves, look to do Allison and something else. Because then I can remove Solanke for a cheaper forward and essentially sort of
Yeah.
go 3-5-2 really instead of
Yeah.
3-4-3. Because I've been 3-4-3 for a while. And to be honest, it hasn't really helped me. I've got quite a few red arrows recently.
Okay.
And I did one of those New Year's resolution videos, and one of my resolutions was looking at the midfielders. The midfielders are the ones that got me the most points, and
Yeah.
so why
Yeah.
was I going 3-4-3? And it does, and I immediately ignored my own resolution, and went for obviously Watkins did well, Kuna did well. Solanke didn't do so well.
I think it was well, I think it was the emergence of Solanke which forced that a little bit,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Because and he did, we did get the hat trick against Forest, and he went on a nice little
Yeah.
run.
Yeah.
But and I think you might just want to think about what you want to do from 27 onwards and things.
Yeah.
And you don't want to restructure and then desperately you might be willing to lose Watkins then. But again, it depends on the blank, and it depends there's a lot of moving parts at the moment.
There is definitely. By then, I might want to be moving Jota again. So game week 26, Jota might go for cheaper midfielder, and then I can get Solanke back again. Essentially, I'm only dealing with about 20 players, and I'm just shuffling them around. I'm not really going outside of that, which might be quite good. But I think, I mean, for those watching and listening, if you're still there after my ramblings about my team, I guess what myself and Tom are discussing here is the difficulties we're facing in trying to get as best we can for 24, 25, the blank 26, look ahead to game 29, possible. There could be a double game week in 28 involving Solanke, involving Bournemouth and Luton, in which case I definitely want Solanke back. So all these things to consider. It's really tough at the moment, and information is key. And I think even though I've got a specific issue there, Tom's got a specific issue trying to get Haaland in. Everyone's going to have their own specific issue, and it's going to be tricky. So basically, good luck. Good luck with whatever moves you're going to make, and I hope that mine and Tom's thoughts are similar, and they've given you sort of a I don't know, hopefully a germ of an idea of how you're going to combat the game weeks ahead. Good luck in game week 24. Tom, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks, Jack.
Just a reminder, do remember to subscribe, keep up to date with our latest videos and podcasts. Do press that like button. Thanks a lot for your time. Take care. See you soon.
Thanks, Joe.